Hi everyone, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Anna, and you're listening to We Judge a Show by Its Pilot, a podcast hosted by us, a married couple with an endless love for TV.
Whether you're looking for a new show to binge or wanting to revisit an old classic, let us be your guide through the infinite list of TV shows.
So come join us every Friday as we discuss the pilot for a TV show while also sharing personal stories that parallel the storylines.
We Judge a Show by Its Pilot, where your new favorite show is just one click away. Hello everyone, welcome back to our pod.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm tired.
I know.
And it's just Monday.
I know. So we are recording this on a Monday, but this episode's actually going to be released on Friday the 13th.
Spooky.
Yep, the day before Valentine's Day too. So a day of scary and then a day of love.
Scary love.
Yes, exactly. All of the Friday the 13th movies are going to be added to Pluto TV. So you can watch every Friday the 13th movie on Friday the 13th.
Let's do it.
Just start with part 2 and just end it at part 2. That's all you really need to do.
It's really, well, I
There's
do
so
like
many
the first
good
one.
ones. There are so many good ones, but most of them are just like fun, bad, good.
Oh, yeah.
The first 2, I think part 4 are like the legit good ones, and then the rest are just kind of fun. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Jason in Space, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it. I guess they don't.
Jason in Manhattan. I mean, he went to a Broadway show.
That
and
one
murdered.
is so bad, and I have not seen it since I was a kid, so I can't. And I used to watch it on USA, so it was heavily edited. So I've never actually watched the actual Jason Takes Manhattan. I might need to do that.
Yeah,
He punches someone so hard that their head comes off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then he's actually.
I know I've watched it, but
he's
been
only
a long
in Manhattan for the last 10 minutes of the movie. The rest of the time he's on a boat.
Yeah.
So it's basically like prom night meets like Warriors, but Jason is in it. It's very
Got ya.
Yeah. Was prom night on a cruise
It was
ship?
on a train. I thought you're
That's
thinking of Terror Train.
Terror Train. I'm thinking of Terror Train. And it was like a disco and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm thinking of that.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry. So we are continuing.
Booze Cruise from The Office meets.
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is. That's a good one. So somehow Crystal Lake is connected to the river that connects to Manhattan somehow.
Right.
That was another detail I forgot. But yeah, so we are continuing Sports Month. But today we are talking about Running Point, a show about basketball.
B-ball, ballers.
You signed up for B-ball. And it is, so it was a show that did anyone tell us to watch it, or did we just start watching it?
I think I saw like a preview, or it might have come on. I don't think anyone specifically told us. No one from our group of friends.
I think we just probably just saw like Kate Hudson and Justin Theroux.
And Brenda
we were
Song,
like, and we were like, let's watch it. So also kind of inspired by a true story, a little bit loosely based on a real person. It is, Netflix hit. Everyone loved it, and I believe they're coming back with the second season.
I think so.
All right, so before we get into all of our stories, questions, plot summary, Anna's going to do what she always does and give us some episode and series information.
All right, Running Point pilot. Running Point is an American sports comedy series that premiered on Netflix on February 27th, 2025. The series currently has 1 season and 10 episodes. Running Point was created by Elaine Coe, Mindy Kaling, Ike Barinholtz, and David Stassen. Coe has worked as a producer and writer for shows such as Family Guy, Modern Family, and Only Murders in the Building. Stassen is also a longtime producer and writer, most notably for The Mindy Project. Kaling and Barinholtz are well-known actors, but both got their start as writers. Kaling is most recognized, of course, as Kelly Kapoor from The Office, but went on to create shows such as The Mindy Project, Sex Lives of College Girls, which we've done on the pod, and Never Have I Ever. Barinholtz got his start on Fox's sketch show, Mad TV, and went on to co-star with Kaling on The Mindy Project, and has recently received critical acclaim for his role in The Studio, which got him an Emmy nomination last year.
Nice.
Running Point centers around Isla Gordon, a reformed party girl who was left in charge of her family's pro basketball team, the Los Angeles Waves, after her older brother takes a leave of absence. The series stars Kate Hudson as Isla Gordon, the team's former coordinator of charitable endeavors who becomes president of the Waves. Drew Tarver as Sandy Gordon, Isla's younger half-brother and chief financial officer of the Waves. Scott MacArthur as Ness Gordon, Isla's older brother and general manager of the Waves. Brenda Song as Allie Lee, Isla's best friend and the Waves chief of staff. Fabrizio Guido as Jackie Moreno, a stadium employee who received shocking news about his family. Chet Hanks as Travis Bugg, the complacent point guard of the Waves. Toby Sandeman as Marcus Winfield, the team's all-star player. Justin Theroux as Cam Gordon, the eldest Gordon sibling and former president of the Waves. And Uche Agata as Dyson Gibbs, a rookie player who was drafted from the D-League. Running Point is loosely based on the career of Jeanie Buss, whose family owned the Los Angeles Lakers. Jeanie became president of the team for 4 years and became one of the most influential women in professional sports. She also served as executive producer for the series. Running Point received mostly positive reviews and became an instant success among viewers. Most fans and critics praised the cast, specifically Hudson, Tarver, and Song, and appreciated the fast, clever humor and relatable storylines. The show has been praised for its realistic portrayal of sports management. The series has been renewed for a second season, filming wrapped in November of 2025, and that season is expected to be released in the spring or summer of this year. New recurring roles for season 2 will be played by Ray Romano, Ken Marino, and Blake Anderson, and you can currently watch the series on Netflix.
Nice. Yeah, so Jeanie Buss, real person.
Yep.
So what's her story?
So her family owned the Lakers, obviously, and kind of a big deal that was happening. And this wasn't while she was president. Her father was the president initially. She was dating Phil Jackson, the coach, hence kind of part of the storyline that's happening later in the season.
Got it.
And so Jeanie Buss and Phil Jackson were a notoriously famous sort of sports owner coach couple. Back in like, I'm going to say like the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. I don't know when they actually started dating and became a couple. I don't think they're a couple any longer. Mm-hmm. I did not fact check that, but yeah. So, and then I think she obviously became president, and then I think they have since been sold. I don't think the Buss family owns the Lakers anymore. Yeah. So it's interesting. When we were watching it, I felt that throughout the series that it was obviously based on her and her life.
Yeah, and you kind of wanted to talk about another woman that's kind of heavily involved in sports management.
Yes.
Who is that?
That is Charlotte Jones Anderson.
I know who it is. I just wanted to tee you
from
up.
the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Also, Gayle Benson from the Saints, who's the team owner of the Saints here in Louisiana. And so I obviously am a devoted Saints fan, but I also started watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders making the team back in the early 2000s. And
that show went on for a long time. It's still technically going on. In
a different form on Netflix now. It has a new name. But Charlotte Jones Anderson is the like VP of the Dallas Cowboys brand. And so she's kind of sort of what Isla Gordon is or was initially in the show. Right. Like she was the philanthropy, charitable stuff. And that's a big part of what Charlotte Jones does, the brand, the marketing, the charitable stuff. She's really big with Salvation Army and does a lot of charity work, and obviously is the daughter of the owner, Jerry Jones, of the Dallas Cowboys. Her brothers are also all very affiliated with the team, as are her children. Her sons, I believe, are scouts for the Cowboys. Her daughter has now started appearing on the America's Sweethearts and Dallas Cowboys making the team. So obviously sports teams are very heavily family oriented.
Right.
Gayle Benson, The Benson family also, I think, had some drama with their family. Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints since the 80s, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. And his wife, Gayle Benson, inherited the team, but not without some controversy from Tom Benson's children that Gayle Benson is not the mother of. And his grandchildren, I think, tried to fight her. There was a lot of acrimony among Tom Benson's natural children and his grandchildren. Rita Benson LeBlanc was very involved in the team until, I'm going to make it up, it was like 2014, 2015 when they started, I think, trying to like say that he wasn't of sound mind, and I think they were trying to take over. And you know, I obviously I do not know what it's like to be part of a family that owns like a huge sports team. I can't imagine the amount of money and, you know, power and decision making goes into things like that. But if you can't trust your family, then I'm sure it's just not a good thing. And there were lots of rumors and speculation that the kids were just trying to take it over because they were just gold diggers. And then a lot of people claimed that that's what Mrs. Benson was. But the thing that I will always say about Mrs. Benson is that she is the one who apparently really changed Tom Benson in being more charitable and kind of pointing out, like, you have this ability to make an impact on the world. You have so much money, like, in your life that you would probably never spend.
Right.
And, you know, she has, I think, helped a lot with, I mean, just a few examples. You know, some are a little controversial. Some are, you know, also very good with Catholic charities in New Orleans. The Ochsner Cancer Center in New Orleans, it has been a big part of donations that she has made.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think a lot of people were like, oh, the Benson family grandkids and kids were just wanting to be in it for the money. Ms. Benson is going to be set for life, obviously, but she is very actively and purposefully giving money away, like, and doing something with it to leave a legacy behind. So I can actually appreciate a lot of that. Charlotte Jones Anderson, kind of the same. I mean, we watch her on the show and she's pretty tough. I mean, she does not.
She's awesome. She's my favorite. I told you that many times.
Yeah, she
she's
comes
my favorite
in
part of the
and
show.
is like, I don't like this and I don't want this and this is how we're going to do it. And you see like Kelly and Judy go, okay, you're the boss. You know, like one season during the pandemic, I think they had like one extra person, like 37 on the team. That was kind of a backup, which on a team like the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, who wants to be a backup? Like,
who wants to be a reserve? Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Third
you want to
string.
go out and dance.
Yeah.
You want to wear the uniform. You don't want to be like, okay, I'll be on if someone gets COVID. And so like the next year, Kelly and Judy were struggling to get to the 36, and Charlotte was like, yeah, we're going to have 36.
Yeah.
Like, that's period. You know, like, there's no extra, there's no alternate. Like, that was a good thing for pandemic, but yeah, that's done.
Right.
And so I love that. I love that she pulls no punches. She doesn't, you know, come in all like, well, whatever you two think, like, y'all are the dancers, y'all know, you know, she's the boss. And is
she the only daughter?
Yes, of Jerry Jones. Yeah. But I you know, and it's not that she was handed all of this on a plate either.
Not. I highly doubt that.
Yeah, she went to Stanford. So she is very well educated. All of her kids, I think her daughter actually went to the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. She was in a sorority. I follow her on Instagram. Her sons, one went to Texas. I don't know where the other one went. He played football. One of the son that went to Texas played football. So they're not just handed things. Obviously, the path is much easier.
Right.
But I am sure Jerry Jones is like, if you're going to be a part of this, you're going to also learn the business and work. And, I like some of the things she says, and a lot of people can say like, that's harsh, but when you're running a business, especially a big NFL business,
right,
you have to have, brand and marketing and decision making. And she is the person we've seen the most of on the show of the family. So
right.
I really admire her business savvy.
Yeah. She's
and
awesome.
Of course she's just beautiful. Like she has those blue eyes.
I've been trying to find a way to talk about her Siberian husky eyes, but like like there's a selfie of her where she's like taking a picture of the crowd behind her, and you can just see like the top part of her face. I'm like, that's the only thing in the picture I'm looking at, because I'm just like, that's why I'm saying when you were like, she's tough and she's intimidating, I'm like, it helps that she has those Siberian husky eyes.
Oh yeah, you can just spot her
because she can
give you that
throw
look.
Daggers at you with her eyes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's tough.
Yeah, but I always like a tough but fair like authority figure. That's what I always respond to. So anytime I see someone like that on TV or in life in general, I'm just like, I have a lot of respect for you, because it takes a lot to have that equal parts tough but fair, reasonable, and she is very business savvy, and she knows what she wants, and she's going to make the decision, and you got to be like that. So especially with, when you're dealing with, like you said, a professional sports team of any level, and whether they're popular, good or not, it doesn't matter. Like,
and in a very early season, probably not one that you watched with me, I'm going to go way back in like season 3 or 4 or something. There was a cheerleader, and they do background checks, social media checks on all these girls. And I think one of them had come through, and I don't know her name. I'm not going to obviously name the candidate, but they, I think, had discovered that she had quite a few speeding tickets.
Oh, okay.
And quite a few being like a lot that
for like them to have concern.
Yes. And so they were going through the candidates, and Judy and Kelly were both like, oh my God, like her dance is amazing. And then Charlotte was like, yeah, but the speeding tickets, and essentially put her application to the side. Like, no, I mean, obviously I wish they could do this a little bit more with football players that have questionable like backgrounds, but that's another story for another day. But it was amazing to see that in action, because Kelly and Judy are the dance experts, but also Charlotte is there to protect the brand. Mm-hmm. But also Charlotte, I mean, I'm not going to say she knows the dance, because I don't think she has any dance background, but she like watches their videos. Mm-hmm. She's a judge. She has attended practices. She gets to meet all the candidates. They know her, and so I think she does as much as she can to know the business of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders without ever having been one herself.
I think she sees it more. She probably sees it more as like, who would be the best, like who would be best for our image. And it's less the dance part. Obviously, they have to be able to dance, but I mean, like, we're not really talking about sports. We're talking. Oh yeah, we are, because they're cheerleaders. It's sports. It's just, you just kind of. I think for her, it's probably just like trying to find like who fits their image the best, and who, like, they could be the best dancer, but if a reporter can dig something up on them, even if it's just a speeding ticket, I mean, like, you can be like, oh well, how irresponsible are you? I mean, anyone can twist anything into anything, so it's just like, it doesn't.
Well, one year
tickets can make her look like a villain, just for having some speeding tickets.
Well, especially when you flagrantly are violating the law. I mean, is that an employee you want to have? Yeah, it's definitely, Charlotte is protecting the brand, the name, and it's a job like any other that you do background checks on. And I really admired that Judy and Kelly were like, she's an amazing dancer, and then Charlotte was like, the speeding tickets, like, No.
It's like not even a discussion.
Yeah, like, there's someone else that we can find.
A little off topic. My favorite thing on DCC is when they do the interviewing tests with like the tabloids and stuff, and just seeing like how awful they are at answering questions.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
It's like one of my favorite parts. I don't know if they do that on America's Sweethearts, because I know
they didn't show it.
Because I know that like that has a different vibe to it. It's much more. I think when it was on CMT originally.
Yeah, it was on CMT.
When it was on CMT, it was a little bit more of kind of like what reality TV was like in the 2000s, where it was kind of like fun and a little silly and stuff like that. But Netflix, they're like, no, we're
documentary
a
style.
little bit more docuseries, and it's a little bit more serious, which I appreciate. I also appreciate that they show them throughout the year and not just like up until the first game, which is what they did on the show.
Yeah, I really liked that aspect of it. You got to see them throughout until the end of the season and making the decisions of coming back or not.
Yeah,
so,
I've enjoyed it. Anyway, so, you know, the whole show of Running Point is about a woman who isn't just the president of the Waves. She loves basketball. She loves the team. She knows so much about sports. She knows so much about basketball, but she struggled kind of being the only girl in a boys club. And so, you know, her opinion was ignored a lot, and her input wasn't taken very seriously when it came to like basketball stuff. And I know that I married someone who loves football very, very much, and is a really big fan of sports. I would say football is like your main thing.
Tennis, football and tennis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was like, I've never seen you watch tennis, but yeah, I remember now. But yeah, so I forgot about Wimbledon.
Well, not so much that because we don't have cable anymore. I mean, if it's appearing on something, maybe.
But you're a huge football fan. Yes. Particularly, you are all about the Saints and the LSU Tigers, which as you should be. But you know a lot about football in general, and I know that we live in southern Louisiana where football is everything, and
it's like church.
Everybody, I mean, I think 1 in every 5 Louisianian, at least in southern Louisiana, at all times, you can find 1 in 5 people wearing an LSU or a Saints shirt.
Yes, absolutely.
At any point in time, anywhere you go.
Yes.
Even if you're at like a nice restaurant.
Oh, absolutely.
Or at like the Sanger going to see a musical, you're going to see someone in an LSU shirt, or you're going to see someone in a Saints shirt.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's just what we're used to. But yeah, so you have been a football fan in what is traditionally a male-dominated kind of sport. Not like just the players, but I mean like the fan base is a male-dominated fan base, although I think times have long since changed, and there are so many women and girl football fans out there that like it's not really male-dominated, but there are a generation and groups of men who feel that women in men's sports, they will always be inferior with knowledge, or they will always, like, the man will always know more than the woman, because growing up, in their minds, it was a male-dominated, thing. So
a male-dominated fandom, yeah.
So can I ask you, what has it been like for you growing up as a kid, teenager, young adult, being a football fan in the South? As a woman.
Well, I mean, for me, I will actually joke, and it will go back to me being born, that both my brother and my sister, I think, wanted a little brother, because my brother already had a little sister, and then my sister wanted to be the only girl. And I always joke that they were both disappointed when I showed up.
Aww.
But I think my brother, and then even my dad and my mom, they were all very much into sports. And so I became into sports. I played sports, volleyball, softball, soccer. I was not very good at basketball, actually. It just was not a sport that clicked with me. But I will say my sports fandom has only ever come into question a few times. Recently, a friend of ours was dating someone, and he did not think I knew a lot about sports, or was surprised at how much sports I did know about and could actually talk very knowledgeably about. Mm-hmm. And he would kind of look at me like I don't, with doubt or questioning a lot. And so I'm like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like I can hold my own. And then I will also never forget one time I was on a work trip and this one guy was talking about the draft or football or something, and he was like totally wrong. I mean, like just complete misinformation. And I was just like, are you sure I was like, I don't think that's true. I think it's this. And he looked at me like he couldn't believe like I knew what I was talking about. And I think he probably got on his phone to like look it up. And then I think he just kind of looked at his phone and was like, oh, she's right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I think it's more of those things where it's like someone who just doesn't know that there can be a woman who knows a lot about sports.
Right.
I mean, you have a question here about me wanting to be a sports journalist. And so I will be totally honest in the sense of the reasoning I wanted to be a sports journalist was I wanted to be a journalist. I was never one to be like, I want to go into war and report on what's happening in like the Middle East or something. I always thought sports journalism or maybe even like entertainment journalism, that wasn't on the real like horizon yet in the 80s. Like entertainment TV kind of came in like the late 90s with like MTV and and all of those shows. But sports journalism I felt would be kind of fun because it was something I loved. I love tennis. I love soccer. I love football, even baseball. We would go to Astros and Braves games. My dad loved baseball. My brother loved baseball and football. I felt it could be something that it would be a fun job, but also take me to lots of different places too without having to go to war over.
Yes.
Looking back and always kind of having a smidge of regret of not really following that dream, I do always say that I am a little glad that I don't have to report on sports because a lot of times it can be a very disappointing thing when athletes really screw up, commit crimes, are arrested, do stupid things. Also, sports has changed a lot since I was born. I mean, money has been such a big part of it, and there's not a lot of loyalty to teams any longer. I mean, especially in college these days, but I always thought it would be fun. I admire so many of the women who are out there kind of trailblazing for other women and being amazing sports journalists. So in the end, I think it's just a few people that can't handle. And I think those are just usually men that have like tiny ego, big egos. But most people I think are usually like, wow, like you do know a lot. And it's not that I know everything. I'm going to like readily admit I don't know like a lot of facts or a lot of things, but about the teams that I follow, which is actually becoming harder and harder because again, like I just said, so many teams are just, back in the day, a player would stay with a team for 10, 12 years. And now if they don't do well, they are gone after a couple years and they're looking to the next person, and the same in college. So it's kind of tough to keep track of your team when there's so much change.
Yeah. So your original undergrad degree is in journalism, or you switched majors?
I flipped it. I was a journalism major with a Spanish minor, and then I changed it to a Spanish major and a journalism minor.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I thought you had switched them, but I couldn't remember.
And
if
I switched it like my junior year when I was it was about time for me to go and do an official like internship. And I told my advisor that, I was going to try to find a news station that would let me like, shadow a sports reporter. And, I probably could have done that in New Orleans. I had worked at a TV station for a couple of weeks for like a little bit of a summer job. And he was just like, women aren't really sports journalists. And I will admit, back in like 1989, 1990, there probably weren't that many.
Right.
And especially, local TV, much less network channels. And back then was the onset of, cable. So it was, ESPN was probably around, but it was probably a very male dominated channel. And so him saying that, yes, was probably very misogynistic, but also probably a little bit true. But I took it to heart and was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I probably need to figure something else out. And like, I literally changed my major because of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would have been a great sports journalist.
Yeah, maybe.
But however, we would have never met. So,
maybe. You never know. It's always meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You want to get into this plot summary?
Let's do it. It was good.
Running point plot summary. Isla Gordon narrates and introduces us to her family, the Gordons, owner of the most popular franchise. It is the NBA, right? This isn't like a made-up league.
I think they're supposed to be the NBA.
So I'm just going to say the most popular professional basketball team, the Los Angeles Waves. It dawned on me as I was writing this. I was like, do they ever actually say the NBA?
They probably don't, because they probably don't have the license to do
that. I realized that, and then I had forgotten to... The team's founder was patriarch John Gordon. After his death, his eldest son Cam took over as the organization's president. Cam is very resourceful and very well connected and is deeply knowledgeable about the franchise, but is also very impulsive and has a reckless streak. The second eldest Gordon sibling is Ness, my favorite. Ness was once an aspiring pro basketball player and played for the Waves for half a season before being transferred to the Philippines to play pro ball. After being arrested for trying to bribe a bouncer, Ness returned home and eventually worked his way up to the Waves' general manager. Despite his ups and downs, the players all love him. The youngest Gordon sibling is Sandy. Sandy is the other sibling's half-brother and the chief financial officer for the company. He is not athletic, nor does he care about the actual sport of basketball. Sandy cares about money, and he cares about saving the company as much money as possible, even if it makes him seem cheap or ruthless. Isla also makes it clear that he's very good at his job. Then there's Isla Gordon, third born and the only daughter. Isla was the victim of being a girl in the boys' club family. She loves basketball and she loves the Waves, but growing up, she wanted to be more involved in the coaching aspect of basketball, but was always rejected by her dad. Because she was often ignored by her father, she began to act out and became a stereotypical heiress party girl. Think Nicole Richie, Paris Hilton, probably the same age, same era. She eventually hit rock bottom, and Cam decided to offer her a job with the Waves, the coordinator of charitable endeavors. It's not her dream job, but once again, she loves her family, she loves basketball, and she loves the Waves. Everything comes to a screeching halt whenever Cam is arrested for a DUI, and his drug and alcohol addiction has finally been leaked to the public. That scene of him driving and trying to smoke a crack pipe while he's driving was insane. His career is over, so he has now decided to name a new president. Everyone is shocked to learn that he has chosen Isla. Isla's ecstatic to finally oversee the company. Her best friend, Allie, my other favorite on the show. I love Brenda's song.
Oh, my God.
The team's chief of staff is excited as well, but quickly reminds Isla that she is a woman in a male-dominated industry. Therefore, she can't make any mistakes. Isla must ensure excellence right out of the gate. Allie also says fuck every other word. She
curses so much. It's hilarious.
Which is funny because, most people remember her as a Disney girl. Sandy and Ness are...
London Tipton.
Oh, yeah. Sandy and Ness are obviously jealous and confused by Cam's decision. They try to convince Isla that all she needs to do is sit behind her desk and sign papers and they'll do the rest. Isla doesn't fall for it. The brothers even discuss trying to rally the board of directors to vote out Isla and let one of them take over. Isla's first real challenge is the team's point guard, Travis Bug. Once an all-star, he is now complacent, problematic, and often distracted, and is most likely being traded to Miami. Isla wants to keep him around because of his experience and because she knows his true potential. She also wants to recruit someone from the D League. The Long Beach Raccoons is the best team
I love it.
ever. And I also did not know that D League stood for Development League. I did not know that. His name's Dyson Gibbs. I don't know if I said that or not. I got distracted by the Long Beach Raccoons. Sandy and Ness reject both ideas. Their goal is to completely rebuild the team and feel that if they keep Travis and recruit Dyson, that they are going to be throwing the season. Isla begins to see their side of it and considers trading Travis. Isla makes her first appearance at a Waves game as president. Her intention of having a graceful entrance is ruined when a player accidentally tackles her. Allie and Jackie, a stadium employee, help her up. Jackie loves his job and has a very optimistic personality. We are then introduced to the team's head coach, Jay Brown, who is described as completely zen until he disagrees with a call he doesn't agree with. Then there's Marcus Winfield, the team's 12-time All-Star player and dated Rihanna, his most impressive thing according to Isla. Isla decides to set up a meeting with Marcus. The next day, Isla gets a visit from Steven, the chairperson. He and reminds her that her father never did rebuilding years. He also tells her to reconsider trading Travis. Steven also reminds her that she is president and the board supports her, basically telling her that she is the president and ultimately she makes the decisions now. But also kind of putting pressure on her to do what the board wants. I mean, it's kind of like he's saying he has her back, but he was like, we'll have your back as long as you make the right decision that they feel is the correct decision. Jackie, the stadium employee who helped Isla earlier, is dealing with the loss of his mother, and his cousin Anna is helping him with his mother's will and estate. He also has another awkward encounter with Isla. At first, she is flattered when he tells her when she came to his high school once and connected with her on their love for the waves. But then he screws it up when he slices meat for her and the fat gushes out and it gets all over Isla's shirt. I didn't know how to describe that at first. I was like, but I had to when we rewatched the episode, I'm like, oh, that's what happened. After Marcus fails to show up to his meeting with Isla and sends his social media manager instead, Isla has had enough of the disrespect. She tells Ness and Sandy that she is not trading Travis. After a meeting with Jay, Isla realizes that all Travis wants is to feel validated. Isla then remembers back when she was at rock bottom and Cam offered her a job with the Waves. Isla questioned why Cam would want to hire her since she'll probably end up screwing it up. Cam tells her something that their father used to say: never get rid of a distressed asset, just raise its value, which is honestly pretty good advice, depending on the situation, obviously. She works out a trade between two other teams and gets $2 million in the process. She recruits Dyson Gibbs, and she tells Travis that he's not going anywhere, and he is still under contract with the team. So if he doesn't perform, then he will be benched for the next 2 seasons, thus decreasing his value, and she'll send him somewhere cold, like Minnesota. And it's been made clear that, he wanted to be sent to Miami because of the beaches, because of all that, because he wanted to live the MIA lifestyle. She also tells Marcus, she tells Marcus she doesn't give a shit about conserving his energy, and from now on, he will attend their one-on-ones. After taking charge, she begins to gain respect of her brothers and the players. So at the end of the episode, Jackie learns from his cousin Anna that his mother's will confirms that Jackie's biological father is dead and was the owner of the Waves, John Gordon, making him Isla, Cam, Ness, and Sandy's half-brother. End of episode. Such a great way to end the episode. It really keeps you hooked and being like, oh, now this thing is being added to it. Now this completely other... Because the whole Jackie storyline was kind of very much like a C plot.
C-plot.
I mean,
you didn't know what was happening.
I think I got maybe I had to stretch out his appearances in the plot summary because it was so small. You just remembered him because he's, he was a really sweet guy, and really, you were kind of wondering okay, what's the deal? Why are we focusing on him? And then it becomes clear. It's bam, he is their half brother.
I also read, just real quick,
go ahead.
Jeanie Buss is now married to Jay Moore.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they got married in 2023.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Jay Moore.
She had a long-term boyfriend, Steve Timmons, or she was married for 3 years and then was partner with Phil Jackson from 1999 to 2016.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, all that early 2000s. I was
Yeah.
correct, late 1990s. And then she is married to Jay Moore. So that's pretty crazy.
And what movie do we love? Go.
We just watched it.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
So, I mean, this... the show's so good. This was one of those shows that because it's 30, 40-minute long episodes, super easy to watch. And I think we finished it in 2-3 days, something like that.
Yeah, it was
so
over a long
usually
weekend.
when we finish a show in a couple of, or finish, a season in a couple of days, that means we got really into it because we like to stretch stuff out. We're not huge bingers unless it's something we've seen before. We can just kind of throw it on in the background and just kind of pay attention when we want. But when it comes to new shows, new seasons of shows, we really kind of like to savor it because you and I both grew up with and for a very long time lived with the week by week episode process.
Oh, yeah.
So binging, I try to do it, but it's really hard for me because I'm just I don't want to watch all of this at once, and I want to stretch it out, and because now it takes 2 years for another season of a show to come out, so it's like, what's the point of watching it all in one day when you're gonna forget everything, because the new season isn't gonna come out until 2 years from now.
Exactly.
Might as well stretch it out. So it's super easy to watch. If you haven't seen Running Point yet, it's on Netflix. It's so funny. It's
really good.
In what we just talked about in the plot summary doesn't even scratch the surface for all the stuff that happens in the coming episodes.
It was a great example of a pilot that just gave you background, gave you like a little bit of identity of all the characters, and then ended with something that made you want to keep watching.
Exactly.
So
it was
great.
Very great way to put it. Just a great example of a modern day pilot. So it's on Netflix, and you should definitely go watch it because it's very funny and it's very sweet, and there's a lot of really funny moments. There's a lot of, they do a really good job of like mixing, like a lot of TV shows, mixing the comedy with the drama. You get invested, you get attached. Bad things happen to some characters and you feel for them. So, it's always good when they kind of mix the serious and the funny, but it's mostly a comedy. It's mostly a comedy, a sports comedy, which I love. And even though it's so funny because we were watching the Miracle on Ice thing.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The 1980 Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
when USA hockey beat the Soviets.
Yes,
and it dawned on me because I was just like, this is the plot to D2 the Mighty Ducks. D2 the Mighty Ducks just completely ripped this off. I didn't watch the movie with Kurt Russell, so I didn't know I never really like looked into it, but like I knew basically that it was like the USA were the underdogs, and they went in thinking that they were like, maybe we'll get the bronze if we're lucky.
Oh no, they weren't even expected to be in the medal round.
Exactly. Like that's what the coach. That's what they said. The coach said like you'll be lucky to be able to fight for the bronze. Like basically, if that, and I was just like, oh, this is the plot to D2. Like D2, they had the two goalies where the one goalie didn't play the entire season until the very last minute of the last game, which didn't happen.
And made the saving block.
Of course. And then the star player being injured, the original game when USA played Iceland, they lost 12-1. When USA played the Soviets, it was like 10-3 or something like that. I'm like, this is the same exact. That's so, and it's really funny. It's just
and
really.
Then you were like, wow.
Yeah, I just kept telling you all the things. I was just like, yeah, and this happened, and this happened the same exact way. It's just really funny. And then the Coach Bombay made them do sprints after they lost against Iceland, just like the other coach did with the USA team. Really funny. But anyway, it made me realize that like I love. If sports could just be like that, if I could know everyone's like backstory and like why they were playing football and like what they were risking losing if they lost the game, I would be more invested. It's why I like sports movies, because I love watching sports, but it's just I just can't. I'm not one of those people that is just going to sit there and just watch a football game just to watch a football game. It has to be a team. That if it's like when the Saints played in the Super Bowl, I made a really big deal out of that. I made sure to watch it. Anytime they get close to the Super Bowl, I get more invested. This last year, I was probably the most invested in the NFL that I've ever been because I made it so far in the fantasy league.
Oh my God. To the second to last week, or to the last week. Yeah, someone won.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made it to Final 3, and then I was very happy that because I didn't want to be out and then it continue with the other two. I'm glad that two of us got out on the same night.
Week. Yep.
On the same week. All right. I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
So Running Point.
Watch it.
It's on Netflix.
So good.
And just another quick reminder, we will not have an episode next week, February 20th, but we will be back that following Friday.
Go catch up and listen to an episode you haven't listened to in the past.
When you said go catch up, I'm like, catch up?
Catch up.
I'm tired.
Wow.
Mustard. All right.
Mustard.
All right. Sorry. I am losing it
We
right
are
now.
delirious.
All
That's
right.
how tired we are.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this podcast on. That way you'll be notified every time we publish a new episode. You can also follow us on Instagram at We Judge Pilot Pod. We're also on Facebook and Threads. You can leave us a comment, suggest a show for us to watch, or leave some emojis in the comments. Before you say your emojis, you yawned, and I had to fight through a yawn just now because I caught your yawn.
See?
What are your emojis?
Okay, and also, this is coming out the Friday before the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, I have for running point, I have basketball, the waves emoji, the car, the hospital, the raccoon, any of the money, the meat, and any of the family, like the brother, the sister, the parents. And then for the Super Bowl, I will throw in a football and the little devil and the bunny to represent Bad Bunny.
That's good.
All right. Well, we are going to head out, but we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.